I wanted to ask you about tapping into the shadow side. So sharing your darker side in your books. How do you recommend that authors kind of tap those deeper places?
It's really, really difficult. Like I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago. It was called Two Paragraphs. That was the title. And what it was about the knowledge. And in that book, there are two paragraphs following each other that are absolutely true from my heart. The real stuff that really took place in my real life that I've been trying to write about. And I couldn't for 35 years. And the whole rest of the book is just there to carry those two paragraphs. So you got to be incredibly careful in using that real stuff, because it goes over into self-pity. You totally lose objectivity on it, and it needs a stroke of genius, I think, in the sense of the concept of the story. What's an example? I don't know. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but well, for instance, there's a movie out right now called Midnight Special. And have you seen it or heard of it?
No.
It's sort of sci-fi, and it's about a little boy who has some incredible gift. He can like bring satellites down out of the sky. He has this weird power. And the story is about his father. The boy is being pursued by this cult, this apocalyptic cult, and by the NSA, this American spies. And it's a kind of a road picture of his father trying to protect him. And if you look at that story, there may have been a real story. The writer may have been a father whose son died or something like that. So what he did, he knew he couldn't write that story, I'm guessing, because it would be just too heart-wrenching and too close to the truth. So he took it into the realm of sci-fi. And I'm sure, let's say his son was so special to him, as kids always are, right? So he said, let me expand that specialness. I'll give this kid gifts. He shoots lightning bolts out of his eyes. He can bring, satellites down out of the sky. And he is also trying to get to just those two paragraphs that are maybe about a father being able to release his son to death or to whatever. And so it needs some brilliant stroke to make it work, but it's very, very fraught with danger using your real dark side in there. Much easier to invent a dark villain and make the whole thing metaphorical and tell it as fiction.
But do you think by doing that, it's kind of cathartic that in writing such a book, you have almost exorcised that side, or is it still there?
That's another great question, Joanna, and it is cathartic. And I wondered if it would be, and it definitely is. I really felt like with the knowledge that I've sort of put something to rest, at least in my own head. I mean, it was a sort of a crime that I committed, as you know from reading it, and you can never make up for that, but at least I've sort of put it on the page in a form that other people can relate to, rather than just some crazy journal that I might write, and bury it in the sand somewhere. So yeah, it definitely was cathartic. It did work.
Is it your dream to write a novel? Get your 7 steps to writing a novel cheat sheet at thecreativepenn.com/7 steps.